Hey y'all, today I get to talk to Joey from the band Roshii. Joey is an amazing person, awesome bass player. To me, he's really known for his love for the local scene, arts, music, and his love of anime. So we talk about some of the anime bass lines, anime music, things he's done, how he got into tapping, and so much more. So please listen, like, and subscribe, and let me know who you want to hear from next. Please enjoy this, and I thank you so much for the support. Thank you for being a part of Base to Base.
Yeah, man, that's cool. It's a cool idea.
And thanks, I appreciate it. Let's get started. When did you know music was gonna be a part of your life?
Man, I started playing bass or I started playing guitar because I was jealous of somebody. I was envious. I know that's not the most noble reason to get started, but there's this guy back in high school. He had a lot of attention because he was like a really good guitarist, but he really wasn't. And I remember like not even playing an instrument. I was like, I bet I could do that better than him in a couple of weeks. So I started practicing, and then I kind of just kept doing it from that point on. Because like, you know what? I know I started this out of spite, but I actually really like it. So I just kept playing guitar. Not the best reason, but I've loved it since then.
Yeah, man. Honest reason. That's cool. That's what we're asking for.
Right?
So previous to you said that was in high school. So was there like any music? Was music really important to you before then?
Man, you know what's crazy is that in my household, they believe it or not, we didn't listen to music, man. Like my parents would listen to like Billy Joel and Jim Croce, but that didn't interest me like at all. They had even bought me a guitar 3 years before I started playing, and it just sat in the corner of my room because I was like, well, that's cool, but I don't listen to anything that I would, I have no interest in kind of doing music. And then Guitar Hero came out too, and then once that came out, then I started getting more interested in like rock music, and I was like, oh shit, I have a guitar too. I can, use that frustration, and I can do that. So that got me actually listening into music that had live instruments. Before that, music wasn't really a big thing in my life. Weird.
Yeah, that's pretty odd. Um, what was like what was the song or some of the songs like that you heard that started like getting you interested or making you or maybe making you want to like practice or learn?
Oh man, that's a good question. Well, I started playing. I'll kind of gear the conversation towards more bass as opposed to guitar.
Hmm.
But the first song I wanted to learn on bass, funny enough, man, I think it was probably For Whom the Bell Tolls, right? Because me and my buddies, we would play a lot of Metallica, and everybody played, fucking guitar. So they're like, okay, well, we're all playing the leads on this. Somebody has to hold the low end. We didn't even have a drummer friend, right? So it was just three guitars. So I said, hey, I'll play the bass part because it's kind of leady, right? I'll figure it out. And I remember I didn't have a bass for the longest time. I just had a little Squire guitar. So I was like, well, the notes are the same. I'll just play it. I'll play my 6 string guitar like this. And I remember it was an acoustic too, so I even like had to like practice slap on my acoustic guitar. And I was like, this is so fucking hard. So when I actually got my first Squire, I was like, oh my god, everything makes so much more sense now. Yeah, weird.
And so so when did you like pick up your first bass or when did you get your first bass?
Oh man, I was that guy for a while. The guy who just, hey man, I don't play bass, but you let me borrow it. I'll play with you. I'll jam with you. And that's always kind of a dubious request. But it turns out that I mean I could play somewhat. I was in a band for a while where I played guitar, and my bassist would like he would like keep his bass away from me because every time he walked out or went to go get talk to his friends or took a phone call, I'd like slither over and pick up his Fender Jazz and like, hey, this is so cool. I really wish I had my own. But I didn't actually get my own first bass until like maybe 2013, 2014. It was a Squire, and I remember like thinking it was so amazing. Like this is such a great instrument. Everything is I don't have to play chords anymore. I can play just one big full notes. The first song I ever played live with like a full band, I think was it was House of the Rising Sun. I think that's what it was, and it was so cool. I don't have to do that big arpeggiation thing. I can just boom, boom, boom. It was fun.
Damn, that's cool, man. Are there any like bass players that are like a big influence on you right now?
Oh, sorry, my internet freaked out for a
Uh,
second there. What's the question?
Oh, it's all good. What are like some of the bass players that are your influence like right now?
Big man, Andrew from Another Drive, and you. Those are the easy answers, right? And it's funny because I've only ever seen you like maybe 4 or 5 times live. But I
Yeah.
remember one of the first times I saw y'all at the Brick, which was the first time I think I played with you. It was cool, man, because Jason, I think it was Jason, he would just say, "Take a bass solo," and then straight in. I was like, "What the fuck? That's cool." And then Janela, Andrew, just king slap, and he was super clean, and he wrote really good bass lines that really moved it. But as far as like beyond locally, Flea was a huge one for me. He just has such a good melodic sense, and Steve Harris, man, between Steve Harris and the guy who kind of taught me how to play bass, I was constantly just throwing in the gallop, man. Like no matter, it didn't matter what fucking song it would be. Like if it was ding 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 ding, I was ding 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 ding, and like I was subdividing, like how can I get in as fast of a triplet as possible, or yeah. So yeah, I guess that.
Oh yeah. So one thing I like when I think of you and your bass playing, I think of tapping. I don't know if it's maybe just like what I've seen or what you share, but I feel like you're really good at tapping. Like, how did you start getting into tapping on the bass?
Um, yeah, so I think it all started on guitar initially. One day, I got my Guitar World magazine, and Eddie Van Halen had an issue. Learned how to play Eruption, and I was like, well, and again, I didn't listen to rock music that much at the time, so I was like, okay, well, let's see what this is all about. And then when it gets to that one tapping part, Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace, it just blew my mind. I was like, how is that so clean? How is that so fast? What is going on? I don't hear the pick attack. What's happening? And then so I started with that, and then I kind of just graduated into moving that into my bass playing. Um, and for a lot of the bass stuff I do that's tapping on bass, I try to look at it as I cannot play this any other way, so I have to tap these notes. Like for example, like a lot of the stuff I want to do is I want to play like a nice solid melody, so I'll work out a melody with my left hand, and then my right hand I'll try to create some sort of nice higher register thing to go with the guitar player. So it's almost like a third guitar playing with them. The way I kind of sell, I think I sell myself short, but I say it all the time. The way I play piano is kind of like a super entry level piano player, or sorry, bass is like a super entry level piano player. So like you'll see like how they'll just kind of ding ding and this melody, and then they'll do maybe a chord and then just one note by itself. So yeah, it's like a real beginner piano player playing bass, and then I just kind of embellish and add stuff based on what I hear my guys do. But yeah, I love tapping it. And that's what the easy answer to is that it's kind of a showman thing too. Like, oh wow, look. Sometimes I'm trying to sell it on stage, I'll even tap things that I could easily pick. I could easily play. But look, hey, look, now he's doing this up here. He's not doing this. Well, what's he doing? No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, well.
especially live performance, like showmanship's all a part of it. I think sometimes too that could inspire people to play to want to try to do what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I've had people ask me too when I do certain bass techniques. Um, there was this one song that we used to have where it was like a dual, like kind of harmony, and I realized, oh, I can play this with one hand. So let's do the Steve Vai thing, right? You cover the neck and you play the tapping underneath. And somebody asked me after the show, like, hey, so I gotta ask, why do you do that one part where you mute it so that way you can play it cleaner? I didn't want to say, oh, because it looks cooler. So I was like, yes, yes, that's why I do that. Yeah, that's exactly. You got it. Go do it.
Yeah, I mean, it does meet it a little bit, but yeah.
That's the real answer, but it's just because it looks cool.
Let's get into some of your gear because you have some real cool gear you're playing with now. What's your setup right now?
Okay, Matt, COVID times. My setup is, it keeps changing, but I don't know what's gonna make it back to the stage. But if I had to guess, my main amp is I'm playing through an Aguilar, little lightweight 410, and it's so fucking tiny, man. Like everybody always goes, "Hey, man, you playing like a 12 up there, or a 15 or 210?" I was like, "No, dude, there's 410 inch speakers in that thing," and I have the dark glass um, microtubes bass head on that. which is a real just asshole of a head because it pushes out 900 watts of power. And my guitarists are at 15 watts each right now, so I just super don't need that much. But man, it's fun to blow them away. So that's my amp. And then as far as my pedal board, I'm super simple. I used to be a huge pedal board guy. But now I just used to get so much anxiety, just like, okay, I gotta turn this on at this point, and I gotta turn that off, then I gotta turn this back on. And there was a point even where, like, with my EQs, right? Because I was playing an active bass. So, okay, so I have my onboard EQ, and then I go into my compressor, which kind of has an EQ, and then I go into my preamp, which has another EQ, and then my head has to be set a certain way. So I got good advice from our buddy Chris, who was like, "Oh man, I just leave everything flat, and I just use the active preamp on my bass and to the room." I was like, "Oh, dude." What? Yes. So I started doing that. So on my pedal board right now, all I have is just a good old tuner, which my basses, like, they stay in tune really well. But I don't know if it's like a weird habit I have. After every song, I'll be like, mute. Huh? Am I tuning? Okay, am I good? And then I go back. Everything's fine. But I have had weird anomalies. I remember I played this one show at Imagine where my little B string just exploded out of my bass. I don't remember what happened, or someone touched it or bumped it. So I had to keep playing, and I had one of my buddies like pull it out of my bongo while I'm playing. Like, thank you so much. It was falling over everything. Um, but no, yeah. So pedal board is the tuner, which is great because it's just a mute too. I have my Cali compressor. And my roommate makes fun of me all the time, and just my band in general, because I've gone through so many different compressors, and it's not a sexy effect, right? It's all it does is it squishes and brings out like the good harmonic mid-range goodness. But I've gone through like 12 of them, man, and this Cali Compact is the best one that I've had. I love it. And then after that, I have a Source Audio C4 synth pedal. Which just does any weird shit I want it to. Like, it's an envelope filter for some songs. It's an octaver for when I need it. It's a phaser. It's Swiss Army knife. It's just a fun pedal. That's all that one does. So nothing too crazy right now. But my main bass that I'm playing, I have my Kiesel and I have all my Stingrays, but I'm loving my cheapest bass right now. It's just a Fender PJ that my buddy, my singer JJ, he sold it to me. I had my friends paint the pick guard, and then I had my Tech Logan do a bunch of weird ass mods to it. So I can throw both pickups out of series. I can run them it's got an onboard distortion thing, I think, on there now. I know, right? And it has and now the next mod we're gonna do is we're gonna throw a Hipshot D tuner on there, because I like being able to throw it there real quick and the harmonic play with that. And then we're thinking about adding a humbucker underneath the pickguard, but we'll see. We'll see if we do that. I'm looking at it right now, that's what I'm looking at. Okay, but yeah, that's more or less my gear right now.
Man, that's pretty wild. What, I guess, like, what made you want to get into mods, like, on your bass? Because I don't feel that that's really like a common kind of thing. But
Yeah, man, it's gonna be the answer you're gonna get from me for a lot of these things, because I thought it was cool, man. My new tech, he's in another band with my buddy Carlos, and he's done really good work. He does it really fast. His turnaround is great. And I talked to him about it. I just kind of threw it out into bullshit, because I know he does a lot of mods on his own shit. I was like, hey man, like, what kind of weird shit can we do with my bass? And he just started throwing out so many ideas, so many words that I didn't know. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. And then he said, okay, but which ones? I said, yeah, just
yeah.
just do them, and I'll pay you, and then we'll figure it out from there. More tools at my disposal. It doesn't hurt to have them. The one mod that I really want to do, but I don't know if I want to commit yet, is I want to get the old Les Claypool bass whammy.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so cool. But it's $400 for that little damn thing last time I checked, and I was like, it's cool. I said $400. Cool. That's
Yeah.
but yeah, I love bass mods.
Man, all right. So the big question: why don't you like multi-bass player bands?
Motown? Why don't I like Motown bass player bands? Oh yeah, like Jocko and stuff like that.
Like SMV or something?
I don't even know who SMB is. Who's that?
Oh, like Stanley Clark and Marcus Miller
Oh,
and
Stanley Clark.
Victor Wooden.
Okay, yeah. Well, Stanley Clark, I'll throw one out for there. Yeah, it's just it's real corny to me, man. It just comes off story to me. I've tried a couple times. I just can't get into it. I don't know. I've especially like with Victor Wooten, especially, and that's the one that I get the most bullshit on, you know. And I actually I love watching his videos too because he is such a smart guy. And he has so many cool ideas. And then I watch his songs. And I'm like, man, that technique is amazing. He can do anything he wants to. And then I listen to the music.
Yeah.
It's just not personally for me. It comes back down to the old you can't win everybody. You know, you can't win
Yeah,
everybody.
yeah.
There are bass players that I fucking love that I know are nowhere near as good as like your Jacob Pastorius or your you know Victor Wooten, like the dude in Pantera, man. He wins
Yeah.
me over. There's this one bass groove he does. I think it's an Unbroken. That's so cool, and it's so simple. It's like two lines of the same thing over and over again, but it supports the overall picture as opposed to maybe when I listen to that Victor Wooten song, and he is the overall picture. Right? He is the show. That is what you're coming for. Less of a team effort, maybe. I'd have to think harder about that question to really answer. Maybe I just say it because I like to make people mad. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, just for people that don't know, I always try to get Joey to like be a part of this like weird 3-person or 3 bass player band, and he always declines.
No, never. For one, I don't think I have the ear that I'm good enough to play with you and Andrew. For one, that's the first thing. And two is there's this band called the Omnific. Have you seen them? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Two bongos, two big walls, and they are so good. But every time I hear their music, I am just waiting for that guitar to come in. Maybe it's because I started on guitar, but I'm like, this just it doesn't have that it doesn't fill out the tonal spectrum that I need it to. Yeah, but they're so good.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back down, and the end product's not for me.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, there's definitely no like right or wrong, right? Like, it's all your personal preference. So
Yeah, it's all personal.
that's cool with me. Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about some of your favorite like anime songs that have bass,
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're real big into anime.
Yeah.
I'm kind of late to the party. Like, I was always like Dragon Ball Z. I like anime, and I
Yes.
just started like Hunter x Hunter and My Hero kind of stuff. So, and a little JoJo. So I'm
There you
getting
go.
like a little bit into it, but I recognize the music is like wild, and I've seen you like post some covers and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I cover a lot of anime crap, man. I do a lot of the anime baselines. It's just so much fun, man. Like I don't know what it is about the culture or what it is about why they write that way, but they just have some killer stuff. There's I'm trying to think, man. One of the first anime bass lines I ever heard oh yeah, it was Cowboy Bebop. You know, Cowboy Bebop. And it's just like a jazz thing, which again, it's funny because I don't like this. I don't like jazz. But it's just like this walking bass line, and I always thought it was so cool because like looking back, if you wanted to the bassist, he could have just wrote like a cool little just a little eighth note and just do it, just get. But he went the extra mile to add like extra melodic content. I'm actually, man, I'm Roshii does an anime cover set. I don't know when that happened, but we've done PAX South a couple times, and it was really fun, man. Because the second time we did an all anime set for about an hour, nothing but anime songs, and the Drake and Josh theme song for some reason. We thought it'd be funny, like, hey, this is our favorite anime. This is the Drake and Josh, and JJ's got the voice for it, so we did it. But then when we did the My Hero Academia song. We did a Peace Sign. That was one of my favorites. And that's such a cool bass line. And there's a lot of, it taught me a lot of things harmonically, like how to build tension and just little ideas that I never would have thought of otherwise. But we did that song. It was the cutest thing, man. There was this mom who was dressed as some My Hero Academia character. And then she brought her son up to the front of the stage and he was just like little Deku. And he was freaking out. And I was like, look at that. and then we closed with a Naruto song, one of the first ones, Haruka Kanata, and the bunch of course, a bunch of weebs were there, right? Even though it's a video game convention, but there's a bunch of weebs there. They kind of intersect, and then they started like a ninja, like how the Naruto run with the other arms back and they run.
yeah.
Funny as shit, man. They started doing like a Naruto running pit, like a couple dozen people. I was like, I didn't ever expect that to happen, but I thank you for that. It's cool, man. I love their music and their take on their approach is just so wow. I can't even describe it.
Yeah. Do you feel like any of that like anime style, or which isn't even like a style, like it's metal or whatever the song is. Like, do you feel like any of those anime songs are uh impacting the way you write now?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. Especially because I have a really bad habit. I never, unless I'm gonna cover a song, I never learn the entire song, man. I just learned the good bits, right? Like this one time, I learned the basic main riff to Tommy the Cat, and then my drummer was like, "Hey," so he started playing, and then once we got to a certain section, I was like, "No, dude, I don't know the rest. There's no the main riff." But the anime songs that I do learn, they definitely affect the way I write in Roshi, and we get that comment quite a bit. We got that one time. It was, "Hey, y'all like American J Rock." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll take it, man. That's cool." Sounds like an anime song. I was like, "Okay, cool," because I was watching Adam Neely. He did a video on Japanese music, and the sax player he had in the video that described it in kind of a cool way. It's like it's in a major key, but it has like this kind of melancholic kind of melody to it, right? It's like everything's bad now, but it's gonna get better. So it's like if I can go for that major feel with the kind of minor melody somehow, boosting it, it'd be cool.
Hell yeah. Um, so what's Roshi doing now? Like, especially with the pandemic and kind of our like lockdown for majority of this year.
Yeah, man. So when it kicked off, we were just finishing up a single. Big bummer. Roshi has somehow we have bad luck when it comes to like these releases. So we weren't able to do our release, but we dropped it online. And then after that, we said, "Hey, well, we have free time and we do this anime set. Let's do a Naruto cover EP." So we we did 3 of those songs, and that was super fun. We went to a very good sound studios. Josh Jimenez, amazing guy. You record us really, really well. When you listen to the quality of our track, this is like the first album I've done that I was like, "Man, this is fucking amazing." Like before, I was like, "Well, I only paid the guy like $40. I can't get." But now with this guy, I was so happy and so proud of it, and having good quality recording really makes that difference. But now we're writing more. We're using that time. We were trying to be as safe as possible, so we weren't trying to meet up a whole lot. But now we're getting to the point where the country is kind of like, "Hey, we're gonna start opening up everything." They even like my singer, he's a teacher, and they're like, "Hey, you got to come back now." So we were like, "Well, shit. Well, if they're gonna make us, we might as well play it safe and meet up with each other." So we've been writing. We want to put out another album sometime next summer, hopefully. But one of the hard parts with that right now for us is that we're trying to raise money for it too. But the main way we would do that was gigging, right? And we don't think it's time to gig yet, man. We personally don't want to do that. So we're trying to figure out other ways, but while we write. But hopefully we'll have a single out sometime early next year. And then we're probably gonna we might do our first like stream show, maybe towards December. Bitforce, those nice guys, they're doing a Bitfest. They asked us to help out, so we might jump on that one. We've been hesitant to do the streaming thing for like kinda because I've seen some of the quality of some of the other streams, and I just don't think it's the best way to represent your product or your music, and I was like, "Who is this for, really?" So I was like,
Yeah.
but with Joey and them, we've seen what they've done in the past. I think it's a Wizard Studio where he records the stuff. And we've seen the video quality is great, the audio is great. He's a sound engineer. He's been doing sound for me for Roshi whenever we do shows with them, and he always does a great job. So I trust him. So we'll probably do that. So we might do a show, and then we're just looking to finish up recording, and then we'll see what happens next year.
Yeah, shout out to Bitforce, man.
Yeah, man.
Um,
Super cool guys. Such a good drummer. I mean, they're all great, but the drummer is the one that like first caught my attention. I've got a small brain, so like anytime I hear like blast beats with cool rhythms, I'm like, yeah.
yeah. Oh man, I love blast beats.
Yeah. Never heard in Roshi. You probably will never hear it in Roshi, but it's still really cool.
So okay, so new album, are you trying to work on that? So what's a way that people can support y'all right now? Maybe like financially, do you have any merch, albums for sale? Like,
Yeah, financially right now, if you want, you can always just jump on the old Bandcamp. And as far as I remember, that's the way I priced it. It's free. It's free. You can donate whatever you want. Strangely enough, I've noticed it in the past because I've been doing this for a couple of years. that when you do that option as opposed to a set price, people typically tend to give more than you'd ask for. So like if I set it for 5, you just get 5. But if you set it for name and price, people 10, 20, 30, 40, just because they want to help you on more than that. And nowadays everybody has some sort of streaming service. So it's kind of like, well, they're already on that. Why do they have to pay? It's like, well, because this directly supports us. As far as merchandise, we've got a bunch. I don't know if you see, but I'm constantly paying local artists to do new anime drawings of Roshii because it makes me smile, man. And I get to see that, and then I get to support local artists. Nina, Victoria, Ricky, they've all done really cool stuff for us. And to be able to collaborate with them is always super cool. But we want to get those designs eventually, and we want to put them on merchandise, which we'll probably make available at our gigs. I haven't really talked to the guys about it, but putting it online would be cool. But I just know that when you use like Teespring or something with the designs, they really overcharge the people who are just trying to get your stuff, and then we don't even get as much of a cut. So it's kind of like that. We'll see how that goes. But band, I guess, is the best way to support.
Awesome. So you mentioned like local artists, and something like I also attribute to you is like your just support for like the local scene, whether it be music or artists. Like what to you makes like the local art scene so important?
And that's a good question. The easy answer for me is just I'm a part of it and I love it. But as far as the local music scene, music art scene, just everything, I just think they're at a point where they really need that support, especially locally if they're going out and they're putting all this time and effort into something. And if you like it, and that's the important part. I always want to stress to people, you know what I mean? If you like it, please, support it. Show them that you care about it. And, I think that any artist, musician, whatever, if they're using that sort of platform, they all kind of want a little bit of validation, right? I don't think any of us does it. And they're just like content with, I don't care if anybody ever likes, no, I think we all would like it a little bit. So I always want to try to support people as much as I can. And I always tell my friends, because as far as the music I listen to in my own time, it's either all Japanese music, man, like J-rock and shit, or it's local bands, right? So if you put on my Spotify, it's Danella Drive, Noise Coda, Medusa Complex, Roshii, and then a bunch of Japanese bands for about 2 hours straight, and back to the local music, and it's just such a cool thing. And I always love, man, like this feeling of the happiness that a local musician gets when you share their shit with somebody, and somebody else really loves it and they reach out. Like every time, like Roshii, pretty often people will message us asking for like, hey, what are the lyrics on this song? What are, what things like that. And like, oh, cool, man, I'll send it to you. But then I ask, but how did you find out about us? Because I'd really love to know, because I don't know who you are. It means a lot when it's just some random person and just saying, hey, I love your shit. And then, oh, well, I had a friend who was playing, your music in this tattoo shop I was in. Or no, my buddy was in the car and he put y'all on. And I was like, hey, what the hell is that? And that means a lot. So I want to be able to put that back out there for other people. Hopefully I can make them happy the way people kind of make me smile.
Hell yeah, man. Well, Joey, like I really appreciate your time. I thank you for being the guest. And just where can people follow you on social media and follow Roshii on social media?
Yeah, man. They can find us. I mean, the thing that we stay the most constant, the updating right now, at least, is probably our Instagram. Okay, so if you want to find us at Roshii SATX, that's the best way, and that's Roshii ROSHII, like Master Roshii, but 2 I's. We thought we were real clever with that one. And then SATX, like San Antonio, Texas, and then we have the Roshii Facebook page as well. People can always jump on and follow us there. We don't really do the Twitter thing. Maybe we should, but not right now. There's nothing there. So if you look for us, you will not find us. And then I also, add any of us from the Roshii Facebook page. That's I've noticed that if you don't pay a certain amount to the Facebook gods, then they don't make your stuff as viral. But if you go to add one of us, you'll typically see us share our stuff out there. You get better access, and it's quicker and more direct.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for your time. I'm glad to catch up. We should definitely catch up more often. And yeah, have a good night, man.
Yeah, man. You too.
All right, thanks. Nice talking to you. Later.
Later.